This is episode 289. Do not stick your hand in there.
In where?
I wanted to do a Dr. Seuss thing, and the next line did not come, so now I'm explaining a joke that didn't happen. Yeah.
Wow. Jeez. Okay. This time on the tone control, not a whole lot. Not much. It's a long one.
But not much for like an hour.
Yeah, we talk about a little bit of some of the burnout about the gear thing, and actually uncover something really interesting about how a certain piece of gear is being talked about.
We totally blow the lid off this story.
We blow the lid off
Stay
of this
tuned
piece of
all
gear,
the way
everyone.
to the end.
Yeah. Listen through my complaining until we go, wait a minute, are you serious? Anyway, that is the show, and I'll see you in there.
Whoops. Hold on. Here we are.
Hey there.
I forgot to switch the scene for a second. It's fine. Nobody knew that happened except me.
Except, right.
And anyone who watches this show, I guess.
Right. And anyone who is listening heard you explain it. So
yeah, we're right up to
We're
speed.
good.
Everyone's on the same team now. How's it going? Oh, nailed it. This is a great sign.
It's only up from here. You know?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we could stay middle. We could just stay.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Right. So anyway, I don't know. You want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
Okay, and I'll go first. Let's see, what have I been doing? We've been, our house is booming right along. I think I probably said something about that before, but we're picking out siding and oh God, the last things that are left. At a certain point, I think we're just about down to we haven't chosen a countertop yet. But we went through the lights, which actually took forever because we're having installations put in a few spots, chandelier kind of things. And it's I have this feeling through most of this kind of selection process that we've been doing that we've been looking for things, and it's well, how about this and this? And that's it. That seems to work. We find something kind of right away, but Mario kind of keeps looking and eventually comes up with some reason. She, you know what I mean? And it's just, and I have this feeling of oh my God, if you would just accept the good thing, you know, what's wrong with it? But the lights goes on for 2 or 3 nights, right? Where when we're together in the evening, we spend hours on this total.
Yeah.
But we solidified it last night in I don't know, hour 6 or whatever. And legitimately the things we found at the very end, or one thing we found at the very end, which caused us to go back and change a couple of things from before and then lock it all in, is legit good. So now I'm fucked, right? Because I can't bitch about anything. Because it's it actually worked out that way. And and then it's we get the siding color worked out. We decided to go with kind of a dark exterior siding, but now she feels like she has to change all of the exterior door hardware. And I'm but I really don't think so, because that's not even, the doors aren't going to be the same cut. And she's shut your beautiful mouth. This is happening, and I have to go do a podcast, so there's nothing I can do about it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I have thoughts on this, but they're not worth exploring. Possibly at all.
Self-censoring.
Yeah. Possibly at all. I was going to say on this show, but now I'm no, maybe not even, why bother? But yeah. Huh. So you're coming in kind of scattered, or are you coming in hot?
I mean, a little scattered, but also what's the difference? I really do kind of feel you know what? This is just what I'm doing. Ups and downs.
Do you mean what's the difference, as in let's keep the ones that we picked before, or what's the difference? Whatever, pick whatever you like.
I mean, what's the difference, as in I'm always scattered. I meant about being scattered.
Okay.
Today's great. I had to mow my fucking lawn.
Oh my God,
because
it
this
snowed
is like
here this morning.
this is the first break in like a week of rain, and the lawn just went, sounds good. And I was like, fuck. So
Perfect.
it's like, God damn it already.
Yeah.
I sort of thought I was going to be able to move out and never have to mow it again. In like
That's a problem for the next guy.
end of July. Yeah, here's somebody else's problem. But I mean, on the other hand, I was suffering a software bug with a work thing for a long time. I think I probably talked about it on the show, with a Waves plugin in DaVinci Resolve, and it was causing crashes. And I worked with them, and they like remote controlled my computer several times.
Wow.
And it was super hard to figure out.
I
Eventually,
say
it was
wow,
like,
like that's some crazy thing. Like that happens, of
Well,
course.
I
but
mean-
like I'm glad they went to that length for you, is what I mean.
Yeah, and big like I'll bring this up just to say, like, big props to Waves. Like, I've been using their stuff for like over a decade, and I use anything you use professionally, you're going to run into some problems at some point. They've always been on it. If anything was remotely confusing, they have a couple of times remoted into my computer, and like it was some weird thing, where you have to go into the bowels of it and delete this one thing, and now the reinstall will work, that sort of shit,
Yeah.
when turning it off and on again doesn't work. But this thing, they literally had to code like a new version of the plugin to work around this problem that apparently only I have discovered, right? This weird, inconsistent, hard to replicate, but definitely there, incompatibility with DaVinci Resolve. And they worked on it, and then and they went off. They're like, leave it with us for a while. We finally got to it. And a few days ago, they sent me a thing. They're like, here, I think we've cracked it. Try this. Like, replace your file with this. And I dropped it in, and it's been flawless. And I'm like,
Oh man.
fuck, man. So that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
I got a song to mix, and they gave me look at this. Look at this, a
look at
binder
that
with the
shit.
lyrics of the songs, the two songs that I'm mixing.
Dude,
they gave me the
that's
lyrics
so
in this
pro.
binder. Yeah. So I'm like, oh shit,
It's like formatted all fancy like
Yeah.
too.
We had like a meeting to go over their preferences and all this stuff, like in person, and check all their files out. And they're like, oh, and here's the lyrics. And it's like, wow, man.
Nice.
Okay, that's cool.
I don't know why this came to mind, but I was just thinking like, actually, you know what it was? When we do a gig, we give the sound guy a set list as well.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
just as that seems like a good move. And it just kind of reminded me of when we were doing records and stuff together, like you had lyrics for the song we were working on your
Yeah.
desk too. And I'm like, that's probably not something that one would initially think to do, but it's like such a good idea. Just like on the order of information transparency and like making sure we're on the same bar, literally. Like
It
all that
helps.
shit.
Yeah, it can really help facilitating some of the communication. It depends, because there are definitely times when it doesn't really matter, but there have been plenty of times when I have not had that and been like, okay, so the part and sorry, just what's the word right here? And we have to do a little bit of like play, start, stop to get in our head, you know what I mean?
Get to where you're each talking about. Yeah.
Here I am, verse 3 is friggin' labeled, brackets, one extra intro C9 to E before the lyrics. Like, I have so much here.
Right there.
I'm not going to have any trouble. I'm going to do the thing, and then it's going to be like, oh, the part in this on this lyric, got it. I can like, it's so that's pretty good, which is good because this mix I have to do kind of quickly. It's kind of
that'll do nothing but streamline.
right.
So that's
right, exactly. So I'm
that's awesome.
yeah.
Cool.
How's things on how? Hey Arnold.
Oh yeah, dude.
What a rad
Look at
shirt.
this. What a rad shirt. What a rad guy. Move it, football head. I used to love that show. There's exactly 100 episodes of Hey Arnold. I was just reading the Wikipedia page before coming up here because it was
Because you knew you knew you'd get asked about it by somebody if it wasn't me.
Yeah, and it was created by a guy while working on the set of Pee Wee Herman, I think I read. There's some connection to Pee Wee Herman.
What an interesting kind of vibe that is.
Like the writers were,
interesting. Huh.
But anyway, things are fine here. I have a toddler and it shows.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it there. Things are pretty intense almost all the time. So just a lot of big feelings. So
yeah,
lots of stuff happening, and it's tough to be dealing with that, like with this is just like one dad complaint, I guess, and then we can move on. It sucks when you like don't see your kid for many hours a day, right? I see him in the morning for a little bit, I see him in the evening for a little bit, and both of those times are like tense and not great.
Right.
That sucks.
He's like under stress and tired and
yeah. And so like in the morning, he's like kind of become a real disaster. Like every morning we're having meltdowns and stuff. And it's really kind of, I think he's hungry and doesn't know it, but he's moved straight into hangry. And so I'm like, just eat the yogurt, buddy. I guarantee you it will work.
you gotta get this creamy goodness in your mouth.
Yeah. But then, of course, then a few minutes goes by and he does, and he's like a perfect little angel, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just the road to there is getting worse and worse and worse. But anyway.
Oh, yeah, I know, man. And these things, like, not like that'll be the last of those phases or those kinds of...
No, of course.
You know, but it's funny, like, I remember when I came onto your other podcast, it was like right when... Those could have been sentences, you know what I mean? I was like right in this phase over here at our house where it was like, man, I really wish I could say good things right now, but I got to tell you how I'm really feeling. And
there's just a lot of like, like, at what point, like, what's the balance of giving up and like disconnecting and giving in and like all that sort of push and pull? But whatever, that's for the other show.
Yeah.
But anyway,
it's the thing.
Here's the thing that I'm excited about that's happening right now. Since finishing my Battle Droid, it's now like I'm doing other stuff, but I'm onto this monthly art challenge for a Patreon that I'm a part of, and like a YouTube that I'm like a member of and stuff like that. So I'm like trying to think of the word creator.
That is not among the things I thought you were going to finish that sentence with.
But anyway, so it's for YouTube. Anyway, so Boiler Hobby Time does this monthly art challenge, and if you're a patron, you can submit to that and stuff, and it's really cool. So there's a theme every month. The community votes on it, and for May, he's picked like the broad category of Star Wars for May the 4th, so we're all working on stuff that will be in a May the 4th thing, but specifically, we get to vote on the category of thing in Star Wars, and it was like land battles, space battles, Jar Jar Binks, and pod racers. And fortunately, pod racers won. So I'm now in the
close
process.
To defeat.
We're
right there.
very, very close to something that's like I will never actually do. But I've been kind of thinking about like, building a pod racer model would be pretty cool, I bet, with some random crap around the house. And turns out I was right. So I've been scratch building a pod racer out of. I took apart an old broken DLP laser projector that I had. And scrubbed it for parts and like threw out all the junk and kept all the trim and plastics and like weird shaped bits. And so I've made a chassis and like a cockpit for where the pilot will sit. And now I got to work on some engines and stuff. But I have a humongous collection of burned out, broken vacuum tubes.
Oh, of course you. Yeah. Interesting.
So, not just the tubes that I was playing in my amps, but I have like a many pounds of broken vacuum tubes.
Many pounds.
Yeah, many pounds. I don't even know what other way to measure this because they're all different sizes and pins and everything, and they're all broken. Like they've all burned out inside. So I've been smacking them open safely to get to the little bits inside to
you're like using filaments and shit.
Yeah. It's great, dude. Like it's really fun. So my recommendation early in the episode is to go smash build a pod racer.
Oh,
just go build a pod racer out of a guitar amp.
Very excellent.
Or don't.
Okay. So if it's a guitar amp, first of all, make sure it's discharged first. That's a.
Don't do it while plugged in.
Do not activate while. Do not stick your hand in there. That's kill yourself voltage, everybody. At those energy levels. Well, I have boxes of tubes too.
I do have boxes of like real I call them my good tubes. Like I'm gonna do anything with them, but I don't know. Keep them around.
I think I don't. See, the trouble is I don't know which ones are broken or because I don't think any of them are outright broken. I have a bunch that are just like kind of beat,
worn out.
Yeah, and I am not sure which is which anymore because I used to kind of keep track of that, and it's been so long since I've been messing around. These amps don't get played that much, so at this point, the tubes last forever, right? I'm just like,
Yeah.
it's what it is.
So, all right, we can pivot if you
Okay.
want to hit me with a
Sure.
bump here.
That's fucking
That's cool.
perfect.
That was great.
I edited that down from a longer one, and clearly I am very happy with how that sounds because that's great.
Love it.
A little fucking 8 seconds of fun.
So
Nobody's
so
just
scattered.
going to leave that hanging in the air.
Yeah. So this PRS amp back here, I know I've talked
Yeah.
about like maybe selling it. I think I've talked about that anyway, but I just don't play it that much. It sounds really good. It works just fine. It just sits there and really collects dust. So primarily I'm playing the Rev and or any of my other stuff, Helix products, basically. So I'm thinking, though, I still want some other kind of traditional guitar amp in the house, and I've been looking at things like a Princeton or some other small combo just to switch the vibe around. Because the Rev feels like that's a really me lane. I'm going to stick with that for like if I had a sound that I needed to record with an amp for some reason, like it's going to be that thing for sure. To say I'm very pleased with it. But anyway, I'm just thinking, like, what would I get for that? So now I'm like, well, if I trade at the local store, I could probably get like about this much. And like, oh, I could throw in maybe a bit of cash or something else, see if I have anything else around collecting dust and stuff. But now, like, I don't know. I'm looking at the used section at the Music Mill website and looking at everything from Kempers to like weird Music Man combos, Ampeg combos, like weird, like other kind of not necessarily what I would consider vintage, but their labeling is vintage because it's from the early 90s. Stuff like that. There's like a couple of Mesa combos.
Oh, okay. Would
But
that be
nothing?
That strikes me as not that different though from the Rev. Like Mesa
Rev's pretty Fendery. Like, I
Is
don't
it?
know. It's,
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I was thinking when you
like-
said something different than I feel like, Fender, Mesa, even Marshall, Vox to a certain extent. Those are all like kind of main
The
amp,
ones.
right? And so I guess what I was thinking when you said like, this sounds very you or whatever, it's you almost could make
Oh, okay.
that's well, I mean, I just feel like that's a main sound
Yeah.
kind of comment, I guess. And you were clearly you're being more specific, which is totally fine and legitimate. And I'm not trying to say no, but it makes me think that something else, like a Princeton or some other, it's like a weirdo. Not weirdo is the wrong word. It's
like a little bit. I mean, a Princeton's like pretty neutral, but I think there's a maybe late 80s or something Ampeg guitar amp. Like, oh, that's like kind of an interesting piece of equipment. I would have to certainly go try it, and like, who knows, it might not be my thing at all, but that might be kind of cool to get into. And I've sort of thought about like, what would it take to get a older piece of gear, not necessarily vintage, but
something where you're not quite sure if it's going to turn on every day or not.
Something where, it'll keep it a little interesting.
It's like, what do you even have a tube amp for if you're sure it's going to turn on every time,
Yeah, I mean,
in these days of compared to a
So
that's not exactly what I meant. I was kind of thinking more like size and shape difference, sort of purpose difference, not necessarily that like, oh, this is colored way different, but like something that's like that where. And I mean, sure, if it's old enough, then we're talking about things that like have ungrounded plugs and like the volume knob is the power switch and shit like that.
I have like a hard ceiling of how much I can afford here too. So it's pretty low for an amp. Like, let's be real. So, it's not going to be like this insanely cool vintage dripping with mojo kind of piece. I mean, I don't know. I just saw a few things and I'm like, oh, there's an orange head. Yeah. I've got a cab here. Or there's this other thing, and like, oh, never mind. It's 130 watts.
Oh, yeah.
Goodbye.
We don't have a use for that.
So I don't know. It just makes me think about like I could sell it just for cash and be an adult and buy groceries or something. But I
like,
try to
you
keep the
already
money
have
in the
grocery
gear.
money.
Yeah, this amp's not offending anybody. Just sitting here,
it looks
except me
great.
because I'm trying to get rid of it. But it's
It's daunting.
it's not like it's not paying me rent, sure, but
Yeah.
who is?
Oh my God, nobody, Derek.
Bingo.
Holy shit.
So anyway, I don't know. That's my
You're losing at Monopoly,
yeah.
right?
That's my thing on amps. Thanks for coming to my talk.
Thing on amps is that one in the back's bothering you, and maybe you'll do something about it. And
I don't know. Just maybe. That amp was a little bit of an impulse buy. So like I'm not like.
What do you use it for?
I was using it around here just to play guitar with. Like that, full stop. I was not setting it up to record. I was not gigging with it. I was not doing any of that. It was just for here. Just to I liked the idea of what the amp was, and it sounds really good, but it's just, I don't think I'm jiving with the vintage Marshall thing. So that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, that's good.
not the sounds it does great. It's a really good example of that, what it's doing, you know what I mean? But
right.
I just don't care about it.
I just don't care what it's doing.
I thought I would, and whatever, here we are. But point is, if you want to buy my amp, let me know.
Right. Well, here's what, let's get to the crux of it.
Yeah.
If you're interested in a PRS amp,
I guess what I'm thinking is like, if I want something else, what would it be? So the Rev has the distinct advantage of having a load box in it. Like I can do literally anything with that amp, from this podcast to a gig to playing it right there plugged into the cab. That's awesome. The PRS is not offering me anything in that like other factor. That other factor being cool features like that where I can have a lot of utility, or something that's like tons of vibe because it's vintage, or
that makes it worth it to not have those utilities. Yeah,
exactly. So I guess that's kind of what's got me looking at everything from rack mount Kempers to like vintage Music Man guitar amps, because maybe that's, I'm just like unpacking this right now.
Welcome. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's just looking at me back there, and I look back at it sometimes. I'm like,
what do you want?
What do you want?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Yeah.
Right. A Kemper, though. I mean,
it just showed up used, and I was like, is that what I'm looking for? I don't know. And I'm priced out of it mostly anyway, so it's not really a big deal. But it's like, what are we at with the Kemper these days? Kind of had that thought happening.
I feel like the last time we talked about the Kemper, I made comments to the effect of like, is that still even a thing now?
Still there? Yeah.
Yeah. Are we still in Kemper? Because the thing about Kemper was it was somehow more advanced and ahead of the game from the perspective of modeling because of the Kemper part of it, right? And
it was the profiling.
Yeah, exactly. Like
being able to do that yourself, maybe is the
being able to
difference.
do it. So that's not something that has to happen on Kemper. So now it's like, is it still better at that? Is it still got other features that are better? Because I just feel like when I hear about some band and it's like, well, actually our rig doesn't have tube amps in it, they never say it has a Kemper. They say it has a Fractal or a Helix or rack or whatever.
Neural DSP stuff.
Neural, that's the newer one,
Neural is fucking go. Okay, so this is a good segue if you want to hit me with a sound.
All right.
Weird.
Yeah.
I mean,
clearly
delay.
did the right thing with that effect, but
yeah. So I went to a show last Friday night. I went to see Intervals, Vola, and Arch Echo. Arch Echo, by the way.
Vola, yeah.
Yeah. Friggin' Vola.
It's a good logo. It looks like it could be from
it's
like
cool, right?
1989 television, like the class, like HBO,
Yeah.
like would have made that logo back then, you know?
Just letters.
Just letters, baby.
Yeah. So I'm there. It's one of these shows that's like everyone in the audience is probably a guitarist. You know, it's like that that kind of music. So Intervals is like progressive rock, prog metal, really shreddy, cool. Vola has a vocalist. I say that because Intervals doesn't. They're instrumental. Vola is from Denmark and Sweden, and they have a really like fucking killer sound. Like they're one of my favorite bands. Heavy, melodic, a bit of everything. And then Arch Echo, I keep almost saying their name incorrectly, is like classic Boston music school nerd rock. in like the best way, because like they're from there, and so it was at the Middle East, which is just right in there, like with everything.
It's right in the thick of it,
yeah. And so it was just kind of funny to see, like, I've never heard of this band in my life, and all these people are like freaking jazzed on the fact that they're playing like 11/8 or some absurd shit that makes no sense, and they're like, we're playing all the notes, do we play enough notes yet? That kind of stuff. They were amazing though. Like it was just so like, oh yeah, we're progging tonight, dudes. Like we are we are music nerding tonight. And it was so like there's a lot to sink your teeth into for that kind of thing. But I bring this up because I was standing there thinking, there's not a guitar amp in this building. Like there's none of these bands. Actually, so sidebar / part of this whole night, we're getting there. I'm walking in, got my bracelet on, about to go through the metal detector, and the fire alarm starts going off, and they just say, turn around and walk out. And so like they have to evacuate the whole building.
Yeah.
And wait for the fire department to show up and turn off the alarm.
Wow.
Not an actual fire, but it was like something with the fog machines or something like tripped. Great. I don't know, something.
Too much fog got on the thingy. Yeah.
On the thingy. So we lost like a half an hour of the beginning of the night. And
so they were just like, we just got to play all the notes a little faster.
A little faster. So, but they got in there and got this show started really quickly and very efficiently. I was like, they're killing it.
Yeah.
This is great. But anyway, there's not a guitar amp to be seen. And I'm like, no, who cares? Why did I just notice that? Everyone down there, like, counting
are you saying
absurd
that
time signatures doesn't give a shit. Like,
right. You perceived that other people hadn't noticed it, kind of thing. Like,
well, I don't know.
Nobody was thinking about it. Okay. I just didn't know, but, like how much are we saying nobody gives a shit? Like, I wanted to know, like,
it's even down to, like, they're clearly playing to a metronome, and there's, like, effects changes and syncopated, like, not syncopated, I'm sorry, like coordinated
time
programmed changes and stuff. Even like vocal effects processing that mimics stuff from the record or that kind of thing. So it's like all very like choreographed, you might say. Like it's very
electronically choreographed, especially. Yeah.
So it's very interesting and I don't know. It's certainly not a bad thing because it was a fucking great show. Like it's still awesome guitar sounds and they're playing their instruments and stuff, and that's why you're there. But I was like, oh man, this stage is this place is small, the Middle East, like you've been there. It's not any different and still pretty weirdly shaped and, you know, not a lot of room up there. So I think the lack of gear in a place like that
super helpful.
Super helpful. But yeah, dude. Anyway, good show. No amps. Loved it.
That's great. That's the room I saw Coheed in on their first album tour.
That would have to see Coheed there today would kill a human.
The fire alarm would go off.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. That was when the one with the green dragonfly record was just out. Whatever that was called.
Second Stage Turbine Blade?
Yes, that one. That's the one. And
that's the one.
There was like a fun kind of hardcore band at the beginning, sorry, this was a wild show actually. So Coheed was like the headliner or whatever. There was like an opener that was kind of not like a local band, but it was some kind of like hardcore band. It was definitely very Boston, and And then Jonah Matranga as one-line drawing, basically.
Yeah.
So in between like a hardcore band and Coheed, Jonah Matranga gets up with his little R2D2 tape machine that is his beatbox, and he just played with his acoustic guitar because it's one-line drawing, and that's what the band is. And
I had a one-line drawing sticker on my notebook in high school. High school.
Cool.
Anyway.
Yeah.
That's wild. I would to see Coheed in a place like that now would just like end a human life. It'd be too much.
Yeah.
That's great.
It was pretty cool. I remember it, obviously. So
I've been there so many times in the last, like I've been there a lot more in the last 2 or 3 years, I think. But I'm starting to feel, I just said to my friends who I was going to the show with, I feel my age the most around getting to and from concerts. Like
the transportation.
That's when I feel like the oldest sack of shit on earth, because I'm like, oh, it's late. Like I do exactly the thing that I hate people do to my gigs, but I'm like, it's the whole like, okay, gotta get a ride or drive or figure out parking, figure out food. Like it's that whole like, okay, here we go. And that just seems like getting a little tired of doing all that, but it's still fun. Had a good burrito the other night and then saw a cool show, but you know.
A good burrito.
I did.
That's great.
That's what I got.
That's good. That sounds good. I feel like it's something I was going to talk about, but then I talked about the Middle East. Like, it's got to be 15 years ago now. When did that record come out? So it would have been.
No,
it was when I was in college.
A decade.
Yeah, sorry. It was when I was in college. It was fully 20 years ago. Probably like, 22 years ago or something. What is it, 2025 now? Fuck. This was 2002, I think, or maybe 2003. So, FYI.
Yeah.
I'm very old.
How you doing there?
Ancient man.
That album, according to Apple Music, is from 2002.
There we go.
So, is that presumably when you saw?
Well, I was living in Boston because I went to college there, and they came to the Boston at the Middle East, and we just and you know what I didn't do because I didn't have to figure out transportation because I just got on the subway because I just had a subway pass.
Yeah.
We just rode down to the Middle East, which I can't even remember what line that's on now.
I think it's green.
Is it still green? We didn't have to go that far then. So we were all in Brookline.
Yeah, it's right next to BU. It's the fucking, what was the name of that stop?
Oh, so we have to go up to like the C on the green line, yeah.
But anyway,
blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Blah 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 yada yada.
As you do. So anyway, I was I hit ChatGPT with some questions again today to kind of see if I had anything, because I knew I was coming into the show without a lot in the notes.
Yeah.
If that wasn't already clear. But I hit ChatGPT for more questions or more ideas and stuff, and it gave me some stuff that we had already talked about, as well as.
So I assume you told ChatGPT that it had blown it. And how do you explain yourself?
No,
you don't shame ChatGPT? Because I thought you were supposed to in order to get it to give you better answers.
Oh, not anymore. No.
Not anymore.
There was a brief time. Excuse me.
Is this real, by the way, or are we joking? Because I don't know.
Oh, I don't know about threatening it, but there was a time with one of the models where it did do a better job if you were kind to it, if you were polite.
Oh, okay. All right.
But
that's better.
That is also now a thing of the past. But
more kindness.
I finished my micro credential, my certification today. By the way,
microly credentialed now.
I am. So anyway, I had asked it about this stuff, and it brought up like the genre blending and the concept of the producer guitarist, which I thought was like an interesting thing to put a label on. People who are like Nick Broomhall, we talked about, who are people who are doing just kind of writing exercises in these
Oh,
short
okay.
segments of riffs that kind of go viral or something like that, where it's riff making is the content and
Okay.
that kind of thing.
I
So,
thought
like,
when you said producer guitarist, I was thinking like when the producer is a guitarist instead of a drummer or something like that. How does that change the
Oh.
music?
well, that's okay.
I have no content on that, but
Yeah. Let's see. It also suggests why do we tolerate bad UI on gear? Which I haven't even considered that my pedals have bad UI. I think they're all kind of fine, but maybe I can't see because I'm just in the weeds here. You know.
Okay, hold on. Let me push a button here, and then I'm going to try to find some bad UI on gear and see what we come up with.
Okay. Of course, there are going to be examples of,
Yeah.
offensively bad user interfaces and stuff, but
Everything when I don't know, I Googled this wrong, I think, but what's come up is people complaining and asking for help on Reddit and other forums about I can't get a good tone through this interface or through this software. And that's obviously a completely different thing, but might be a legitimate gripe. But anyway.
So, but what I'm getting at with the ChatGPT thing is like I read through these. So, our ergonomic guitar is still weird. Algorithmic inspiration, the death of the practice room. Like, oh, millennials have killed the doorbell. Like, right, okay, well, I guess guitarists, like modelers, have killed the practice room. Or so, I don't know.
Oh, because you can just use headphones now. Is that what they mean?
Yeah.
It just means the practice room looks different and isn't expensive.
I guess, right. Do you play for yourself? Guitar is a comfort object, like I don't know.
I like that it's like on your couch and
especially post-COVID, a lot of players describe their guitar as more of a security blanket than a creative tool. Is that a good thing?
Is that true?
I don't actually. That could be a hallucination.
That sounds
we'd
like
have to.
High probability of hallucination.
Yeah.
I think that sounds like bullshit.
I don't think it's not. Well, it is claiming, yeah, but I could ask it for a citation, but I haven't because I think that's not a conversation worth having anyway. But
okay.
Yeah, I don't play guitar because it's like a vice, like I don't use it like a security blanket. You know what I mean? It's not a
Like it's
coping
a vice.
mechanism. It's not something I use to cope negatively, I think. Anyway,
Yeah.
there was a couple interesting points about class and access to guitar and the guitar world and stuff, which is that's a real conversation. Again, and then also sponsorship culture and content creators, which we have touched on in the past with like the demo versus
review,
a review or whatever you want to call it.
Endorsement, yeah.
Well, then what's left to invent, right? What are we?
Yeah.
That's impossible to think about. But so I bring all this up again because after reading through those responses, I'm kind of feeling like the term glass ceiling is knocking around in my brain. Like, is there a glass ceiling on something with guitar, or is it me? Right? It's not. It's like there's not a glass ceiling on like practicing. I can practice. And I can get better. I know that. But as far as like how much is left to change, I guess it's the stuff that we probably can't even consider yet. Like we never could have considered modelers in the 60s. But
right, it seems insane.
Yeah. So I guess I feel like I don't even know how to call it. Like kind of clouded by the current state. You know what I mean? Like clouded by everything we have, which is like limitless great stuff now. And like a never-ending supply of new and fresh and cool gear that's like affordable and really well made,
Okay.
Do you see where I'm coming from? Like,
I think I'm starting to pick it up.
What are we not looking at with all of this? And is that interesting?
Okay.
All that not stuff. I don't know.
if this is, let's see if I'm landing somewhere, if I'm circling any of the drains here. The
So many drains.
any of the drains we want to circle if I'm getting close to them. Okay. So the postulation that accessibility is high. I think there was sort of two sides of a coin there, because at one point it said something about like, is there a problem with accessibility? I thought it was,
it had brought up, and I'm saying
okay,
like based on these subjects,
it.
like I'm feeling like, am I hitting a glass ceiling with? I hate using the word content, but like, am I hitting a glass ceiling with content for the podcast? Like with it, not interest, but like, am I hitting like what's left? You know, and
right, because everything that is there kind of seems like stuff we've already done and already talked about, and
and even through multiple rounds of asking for like left of center kind of creative different ideas for guitar discussion, like we're past tone woods, we're past, you know, does it sound like a real amp, we're past all of that now.
Right.
What is like a different thing that we can talk about with the same amount of energy, the same amount of passion, because that's what fueled so much about the guitar space for so long. So,
okay. So I think
like that's what I'm feeling. That's what I'm craving.
Yeah. So I think kind of likewise too, there's so much, and there has been for so long, that it's talked about, and it's sort of like there isn't anything that feels new. And I think that sort of is an analogy to maybe that guitar stuff in many ways, mostly the amp side of it, keeps shrinking in cost and going up in quality. You know what I mean? Like, because, so like the access to the ability. So I'm kind of going back to this access thing. The access is high. And there aren't impediments that there used to be. So now it's not like, well, I can't do X because I would need this expensive thing that I don't have, like a crazy amp or whatever. So I can achieve any tone, and now all that's left is the plain naked truth that I have no creative ideas as a musician, right?
Yeah.
So it's like I can make any sound, right? Because I don't need to buy an expensive keyboard, because if I really comes down to it, I can do it with a mouse, and I can probably approximate stuff with like free or very cheap tools, software. And likewise with guitar stuff, like I can use, like there's a free version of whatever that I can plug in and start getting some pretty cool tones out of right away. So all that does is prove that, you know.
Yeah,
and so likewise, we can't come up with a topic to talk about, and you also can't come up with a song. I don't know.
Yeah. So, but that's an interesting thing or interesting way to look at it. Is it? Do I not feel the interest in gear because I have the type of gear that can get me all of it, right? Yeah. Or is it something else? And I think it's probably a little of both. But I'm also kind of curious if you think, at least when I was coming up with guitar, like when I was in high school and college and stuff, I was like, and really until pretty recently, super locked in with gear. Like I was obsessed with gear for most of my guitar playing life, until like certainly more years than I haven't been recently. And that's been a weird adjustment. But I'm not sure if it's because like I've just lost the heat on that, or if it's because my own gear collection is satisfying me in a way that I don't feel the need to. Or this third thing, which is like the chase for that is not like it used to be. Like, and was that the thing that I wanted? Was that like I loved looking through the catalog, and I loved like circling stuff and like, oh, I would get it in this color, and I would like sort of doing that daydreamy thing that you do. But I didn't have any of this stuff though then, and I don't know like which thing. I really am nostalgic for that, like that intense draw of like, oh, I want to save up, I want to get this great piece of gear. It's gonna be so exciting. I love doing that, which I can still do as well, but. I don't know. I'm totally rambling and totally like thinking out loud through this whole thing, but I just figured like, is there a glass ceiling? Not on my playing, because like that's just my own dedication to the craft. But is there like what innovation is left that's going to make me feel excited in a way that I used to?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I don't mean that in a bad way. I guess like I'm not trying to be negative about it, but it's
Well, because clearly you're still having fun doing music activities that you like to do. Like that's an important part. I think
it's more of a curiosity that I'm asking with than there's nothing left that's cool. No, there's I know there's plenty, but what is it? We can't even, and that's what's killing me.
So on the podcast, we followed gear news for years, for basically a decade. And it was mostly interesting the whole time, I felt. Because but we were looking at stuff. We were looking at stuff that was, for the most part, sincerely doing new things. Now, I think we also landed, the podcast came around just in time to catch the pedal renaissance kind of thing.
I agree. And there was a big wave with that, the boutique, brands as personalities thing too.
Yeah. And there was a lot of creative ideas. I think of it now because pedals that made sounds that weren't there before existed. Mm-hmm. And well, I mean, they exist, but they were created then. And then, and then sort of modelers was kind of, they existed before the podcast, obviously, but they, kind of came into their own and became not a sideshow kind of later than that. Now, I assume people are still trying to make new pedal things or, and we're just not paying attention because we're kind of past it, but or are they not?
I'm still sort of paying attention. I'm actively scrolling some sites right now, but it's stuff okay, the TC Electronic Ditto Looper 2 has come out. And
if you'd asked me, I would have said for sure there was already a 2 of that.
There's a whole bunch of them. There's they did the X4 thing, they did a vocal one, they did a double switch one. There's all this stuff based on the Ditto platform. Mm-hmm. So now this new hardware, new everything, Ditto 2 is out. I don't know what's so much better about it, but the Ditto's already been on the market for over a decade, like you're saying.
Yeah.
And maybe that's because there wasn't tons to improve, or maybe there wasn't tons of demand for the Ditto. But it's a small looper pedal for guitarists. So I can kind of get an idea of what it's going to have, right? I don't feel the need to read the whole press release and watch some demos because it exists already. And I don't know, it's on me to check if there is something cool and exciting about it. And I'm being pessimistic for saying I don't want to waste my time with that. But do you know what I mean? There is only so much that we can do.
It does pique my curiosity a little bit though, because what do you do with that? To sell a 2, to make a 2, then you had to, that's an embarrassing product if there isn't something that's legitimately different about it. If there isn't something that would make somebody who had the one and really used it all the time go, oh shoot, maybe that new feature's worth something, right? Because this isn't even an expensive device. These little TC things.
Yeah, I'm looking at the page and it's even saying here, simple looping refines the winning formula. It's got more responsive experience. What does that really mean?
What does that mean?
The foot switch got redesigned so it's bigger and tactile and has a different LED to show you. So software wise, functionally, this seems unchanged. So why would we cover it on the tone control? That seems, I don't want to, it's the thing is, I don't want to waste the listener's time on something that's I just covered the Ditto 2 in 12 seconds, while reading this website. And I'm sure many listening are yeah, great.
Yeah, wow.
If I need a looper, maybe I'll get that one. But it's, I don't know, maybe a bad example.
Oh, I accidentally looked up the X2.
Yeah.
Because I was these look way different. Hold on, Ditto Looper 2. I'm just trying to show them. Oh, it's linking me to the X2.
Here, I'll drop it in the chat.
Show me the non-X2.
It's $119. And here, it's been redesigned. It's a little sleeker looking. It's got some other stuff about it. Oh, is there a switch on the side? Oh, no.
There's a little toggle switch.
Yeah, it's just some other Bluetoothy things. Because you can load in sounds. You could load in a preset to play along over if you wanted. But I don't know.
Okay, so here we go. I'll put it up. So USB and then pair user and okay. So it doesn't have like features from the X2, but it's got like a USB connected thing, which this other one definitely did not.
So it says, I'm looking at the Sweetwater page, and it says it has loop snap, which is a timing error correction using intelligent beat tracking. I don't think the original had that one, but why is that not the first thing that they said about it?
Okay, and that is the point I was basically trying to get at. I was like, you just look this up, and why does the headline not have that? Because I just went back to, now I'm on the original, it does have a USB. Now listen, it's a micro USB port.
But this was 2010.
So, right, exactly.
You know what I mean?
So they're not telling us to upgrade because of USB-C, right? But when we go over to this one, we've got USB-C and then pair, user, and ditto. So it's, what is pair mode? I mean, anyway,
Probably
so
Bluetooth.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So you can Bluetooth into it, and that does something, and then it's got some tech that, but that's the detail, right? So it's got some, that's the upgradable feature, right? It's got some tech that could time align your stuff. That's kind of cool. And that's also something that really probably would have sucked if they'd made it 4 years ago, because the tech around like machine learning, as far as interfacing with music is concerned, is, really rolling fast on the ground. Mm-hmm. I've been no secret to me. I'm paying attention. Like, just today, I was talking about Waves earlier. Just today, Waves announced a new plugin. It's another friggin' auto EQ thing, and I haven't looked at the details. What's different about this than the last time they made a friggin' auto EQ? Okay, great. Those aren't valueless. And there are times when I use things that are a little bit machine learning and stuff for more than just noise reduction, and they can be really good. But it's anyway. But the point is, it's happening. It's coming fast, and they're changing a lot. Actually, they're getting a lot better. I've experienced some things from just a few years ago, where it was like, intelligently does something, finds the resonance and kills it. And the one I have from last year, it blows away the one I have from 2 years ago. It's just, it's over. That one's in the trash can. Well, it's software, so it's not going in the trash can, but it's in the trash can, Yeah. So maybe the Looper 2 is a lot better, but why didn't they put that in the fucking headline?
That's it, right? And we've talked about kind of how guitar is presented from like a marketing and ad perspective. Like, lead with that, man. That's
what are you
amazing.
doing to me?
Yeah. Like, here's the demo.
How long do you know how long Derek had to dig before he got to that little
That's what
bit
I'm
of
saying.
Shit? Like,
right. Like, that's a cool thing. Here's the demo, right? You've got some guy who's like trying to do an open mic and do a loop thing, and he stumbles and like is nervous and taps
redo his loop. Yeah,
taps the loop wrong, and oh shoot, now he's really nervous, and ditto too. Error correction. Like, that should just be, sell it on that alone. I don't care if it has Bluetooth.
Okay,
this thing can literally make you sound better than you are. Fuck you. Why are you not selling that? It's the only pedal that makes you better than you are.
This pedal, by the way, has one review on Sweetwater, and it's kind of not
reviews.
It's kind of not that great a review. I'm going to go ahead and throw it up here. He gave it 3 stars. Okay.
Oh, I see it from Chris N.
From Chris N here. I think the gist of his complaint, though, is that like he got this, but realized he really needed to go for like the X2 version with more switches and stuff. So it's kind of not for him. So he's telling you right off the bat, probably deserves more stars. It deserves a higher star rating from what it is, but we really just need to go straight to a plus version. Oh, he's not even saying for him. He's no. Okay, so he is criticizing them. He's saying they did a half measure here. With a smartphone integration, we need to be able to save loops in the phone, exportable as WAV files, and to be able to navigate the playlist of all our saved loops, trigger them from the pedal or phone. When that happens, I'll take 3. So this guy strikes me as like, this is a person who uses loopers, stereo TRS.
Sure,
he's making suggestions. He's doing it right on the Sweetwater page, which is fucking pointless, but hey.
Yeah. But like, that's he's right. Like
Yeah.
that, it's exactly the point, right? I'm sure if this guy's like, I need a single foot switch looper. Good thing that I'm alive when the Ditto exists, right? Like it's
How fortunate we are to live in these times.
like they nailed it the first time. Oh my God. Like I know exactly how I sound. I'm just saying like that is a pedal that has not needed change because there's nothing there to change.
Well,
Then why did
this
Leo
guy's
Fender
got
invent the Stratocaster? Shut up.
this guy's got the ideas though. Like he right
Those
there.
are,
Like
yeah.
it connects to your phone. So how come it doesn't do anything with that? Is basically the summary of this review. Like why did you build this tech into it and then sell it to me if it didn't do anything? And you know what? And right back we are with like, you know, the marketing people don't talk to the dev people, and so we get like the ad says Ditto 2. It's
What
twice
is
as Ditto, you know, and it has nothing. What are you looking at now?
Sorry, I'm just looking at I'm looking at the product page on the TC Electronic website. Second generation Ditto looper with redesigned foot switch. That's the first thing they're telling me. Is the foot switch is a different shape.
This is the marketing team, right? Like I'm still scrolling to try to find
I noticed the foot switch looked different, but I don't care. Like so then it says single tap looping, then intelligent loop snap and Bluetooth app integration.
Yeah, so it's okay. So, devil's advocate, it's written for somebody who doesn't have a looper one or any looper. Like it doesn't.
Course.
It's being sold here. That at least marketing thinks that they're talking to people who don't already have one of these. But
I guess
they're not.
like this is part of my own personal burnout with like corporate bullshit speak.
Yeah.
Because here, check this out: colorful visual feedback. A new vibrant LED display provides crystal clear visual feedback with a diffused glow. Whether
Yeah,
on
but
a
the other
dimly
one had
lit,
a
wait,
light. Oh.
whether on a dimly lit stage or practicing at home, the LED ensures you always know your loop status at a glance, making looping more intuitive than ever. Like,
Okay, hold
there's
on. Let
three
me
fucking sentences on the LED, Justin.
Let me read that. I got to go back to the Ditto Looper 1 and read that
goddamn LED.
exact fucking line. Hold on. Ditto Looper 1, loop sense. I mean, this thing had an LED in it, right? Okay, so
Yeah,
tell me
of
about
course
the
it did.
LED. Oh, they have very little info about Looper 1. Oh, wait, show more. Here we go.
The gaslighting us
true
did it
to
ever
tune.
exist?
How do you Ditto? I think they've taken all the info about this off the friggin' page.
Yeah.
Undo,
I found it.
record, access to different foot commands. You found it?
I found it. It doesn't say anything about the specifics of the LED. But that's back when they were talking a lot about analog drive-through and true bypass and stuff. And the new one.
What is the new one called? The AI feature?
Loop Sense.
No, Loop Sense, because Loop Sense is on the original Ditto Looper page. Loop Sense
hang on.
is a paragraph.
Loop
heading.
Snap. I'm sorry. Loop Snap.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. I was like, don't tell me that. Well, Loop Sense, Ditto Looper was designed from the ground up with guitarists in mind. Hey, we play too. So it just made sense.
Wait, that's what they said about Ditto 1?
Yeah. We made sure Ditto Looper takes up minimal space on your board, but still has the essential, quote, make your guitar heart jump. Guitar heart, by the way, is a hyphenated word. End quote. Features such as true bypass and analog dry through to ensure your tone remains uncolored. Now, what does that have to do with Loop Sense? Because the heading of that section is Loop Sense. It makes it sound like there's a feature in there that they're describing that it senses loops somehow.
This is not a dig specifically at TC Electronic. You know, like that's not my point here.
Yeah.
But it's like this is the corporate mumbo jumbo that's like, what are you even talking about? Yeah. And some people might read that and be like, whoa. Right? That's a lot of words for a cool factor, right? Or whatever it might be. I just hate seeing that so much these days.
What the fuck is Loop Sense? But like, I agree. It just doesn't fucking mean anything. Like they said Loop Sense, and then they described something that makes no sense to call it that. They're just talking about how it has true bypass, and it's small.
Loop Sense.
Loop sense, and then they describe it being small and true bypass. That's it.
What do they call it? What is that?
That makes no sense. That's why I asked you, strategic question, what are they calling the new feature in the new one? Because I was afraid it might be loop sense.
I think, is that the automatic, like it knows when a loop ends and it will stop the recording? That would make that.
How would it know that? But they don't say that though.
Looping sense. Are you sure you're not talking about
looping sense? Oh, you're right. Looping sense is what it says. That doesn't make any, like, I don't get that as a heading for this. Looping sense. And then I guess, so that's a tie-in with the phrase we play too, so it just made sense.
I guess so.
That's awful.
See what I mean?
That's awful, man.
And like, I see that and I'm just, that's what I see. I'm like, people are reading this and like, it makes me feel weird. Like, what do you, I know what I'm talking about. Like, can we, I don't know, say something legitimate. It just seems like so clearly it's all fluff. But anyway, trying not to bitch about it all the time on this show.
Right.
I know we do that all the time. And
at every
it's just
possible
it's
opportunity.
like the only way that I seem to be able to look at this stuff. But I don't know. I think, okay, maybe there isn't a glass ceiling with this. Like maybe we can look into gear a little bit more and find that cool thing. Granted, I don't have as much time for that kind of thing as I used to. But
they're going to have to make it obvious. They're going to have to put it in the headline.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why is
God damn it.
Even then, I want to put it in the show, and it feels like I'm boxed out because the article, your own fucking product website, isn't showing me that it's got error correction. Like, that's the coolest shit I've ever heard. You should put that. It should be called the error corrector powered by Ditto.
Oh my God. Powered by Ditto.
Like, I'm kind of doing a bit, obviously.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So.
I get you. Oh, well. I mean, whatever. Okay. Hey, listen up.
Hey, before that.
Okay.
Listen up. Like, audience, if you want to get, like, us to get back into gear a little bit more, I'm down. Like, I am.
Yeah.
I just want to know. I felt like it was kind of becoming too much of the same for the listener. So throwing that out there. Anyway,
yeah,
go ahead.
It's true. We would like the feedback. And probably like Discord is good enough about this, but like
you can fucking email us. Like
I mean email. Well, right. I don't mean only Discord, but like our Discord is routinely they're chatting about stuff. So if there's some gear, it's probably going to flow through Discord, and we could probably find it. And But anyway,
yeah.
If something has a cool, whatever. Help. Give feedback /help. I was gonna say. Okay, that was gonna go on for another 20 seconds.
It was.
So anyway, that's all the stinger you get. I was gonna say that
like one fucking note.
We put up a poll: which riff should earn a sticker? And the winner was the one that I called JR2.
Okay.
Which I'll go ahead and repeat for you. I actually forget who I took the names out.
We're gonna have to check because I forgot. Yeah.
What I did was when I posted the poll, it's not that it's like a big deal or whatever, but I removed the names from the file names that people could preview them, so that when you're listening, you're at least just listening for the riff. Wait, what the hell? Oh, and you know what? Then I didn't change the names on my Stream Deck. Oh. I am going to just play it here quickly. All right. I assume anything. You can't hear that, right? Because it was just playing for me.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Wait, which one is it? I'm sorry.
It's
I can
JR2.
play it to myself.
I know. I was trying to play it on the for the audience, and I forget who it friggin' was. Oh no! And I didn't know my Stream Deck because I changed the names of files on it, so it's not Stream Deck's fault. It's my fault.
Oh, it's the one that sounded like Futures.
Yes, it's the one that sounded like Futures. And I need to reassign.
We can cut all this out.
We can cut all this out
while we search for it.
Where's my folder? Tone control, Jimmy riffs. Here we go.
Clicking.
No, not that one.
Double
Wasn't
clicking.
this one? Nope. Oh my God. It's literally the last one I checked. No, wait, it's not that one either. What the hell one is it? Oh my God, I don't know which one it is.
No.
Oh,
Is it
it's
there
friggin' Eric's.
Oh, frig.
So hold on, click on that, and then I need to choose the file, and then I can grab it over on the project drive, tone control, Jimmy riffs, Eric's. Eric, you got a friggin' sticker.
Congratulations, buddy. Fuck yeah. Congrats, man.
Simple and to the point.
Yep.
Right.
You'll win
okay,
a tone control
some
care
stuff.
package. Yeah.
Some stuff. Well, you win some stuff. I'll send you. So I'll send you some stuff. All right. What do you think?
I think we're great.
We're great. Do we want to pick anything, or do you want me to just read some of George Washington's wisdom?
I've got a pick.
All right.
But you can do that too.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna pick up right where we left off. Number 5. If you cough, sneeze, sigh, or yawn, do it not loud, but privately, and speak not in your yawning, but put your handkerchief or hand before your face and turn aside. My wife friggin' hates it when I talk through my yawns, and I feel that George Washington just friggin' told me what for about that. So
yeah, talking through yawns.
Yeah.
I have no opinion on that. I had absolutely zero take on that.
I had a professor in college who would get super mad if somebody didn't cover their face when they yawned. He would literally, if someone yawned in class without a hand over the mouth, he'd be mid-sentence and he would just go, "Cover your fucking mouth!" As loud as he fucking could.
Wow. I mean, I get it. I don't want to be
thing.
looking in there either, but that's on me.
But that's on me. All right. Anyway, thanks, George Washington.
Wow. I got a couple of music picks for you.
Okay.
One is, and I only know this because I just texted you. One is the album I texted you over a month ago now by the band Love Is Noise.
Yes, I downloaded that and I listened to it. And right now I'm going to remind myself by looking at the cover so I can try to remember which one it actually was. It's the yellow one. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Pretty cool, right?
It's pretty cool. I'm trying to remember, because I remember it was, like you said, it was weeks ago, and I listened to it. There's something about it that didn't quite stick with me, and I haven't gone back, and now I can't remember what it was. So let's just assume that for some reason I needed to be in a different mood or something like that, because I remember it being pretty cool.
Yeah, I recommend you try it again. The band is Love Is Noise. The album is called To Live in a Different Way, and it's like a hard rock kind of modern grunge thing is what I would call that. There's a grunge tilt to it that's kind of more current though, in a way that Teenage Wrist is more grungy currently.
Right.
So I just think it's got some really good hooks and the guitar tones are super cool. And I've at first again was I heard a single or something and was that's a cool song. Checked out the album. I was yeah, this is good. And again, kind of did not pick it up again until maybe 2 weeks later. To put it back on, and now I'm really into it. Cool. Secondly, which the one I just sent you is a new single by the artist Petey USA. That's Petey, Petey. And I just texted that to you, Justin. The song's called "The Milkman," and fucking this guy, he's got an album out from last year, maybe the year before, I'm not certain. That I'm really into. It's this cool indie rock kind of pop rock thing, but this song is really fucking catchy and really has a Cars type of vibe to it.
Okay.
Funky as hell. It's fun. It's like bouncy and kind of. He's got some fun synths, retro synth stuff going on. But anyway,
Right on.
that's currently in the lead for my new favorite song, by the way, The Milkman.
Oh, wow. All right.
So it's just every time I put it on, I'm like, yeah, this song's starting out great. And then by the end, I'm like, fuck, this song is so good.
It stomps.
Yeah, I have
Great.
songs like that where I'm like, I hear it come on, I'm like, all right. And then by the end, I'm out of control.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Well,
I do that with Everlong, by the way. That's the one.
that's the song that just keeps kicking.
That's one of them. Yeah, I'm like,
Yep.
comes on, I'm like, all right.
It's
Everlong.
absolutely one of the tunes of all time. I mean
sure.
that. I mean that sincerely. I know that's sort of a weird thing to say, but it is.
I agree. Because I undersell it to myself because of my reaction often in the beginning. I'm like, cool. Yeah, this song's great. And then by the end, I'm like I said, I don't like who I've become. Anyway, let's get out of here.
Yeah, let's get out of here. All right, thanks everybody. And so we have our prize winners for this month. So let's say next episode, we will pick out what the new riff contest is going to be.
Yeah.
And do it all again. So when this comes out, sometime during that week, as soon as I remember, I am going to put another poll up. Unless you want to just decide it right now, but I figured
No,
I'll
I
put
like
up
the poll.
You like the poll? All right, so we'll put
Yeah.
up another poll and give people some choices of what kind of riff they want to try to do next time, and we'll get another thing going. So, and then I think we need to gather addresses. I'm sure we already have Eric.
Yeah, Eric's like really near me too, so I can just give him stuff that I have here. We'll figure something out.
Do you still have
Yeah.
stuff? Because I still have stuff.
I have some again in a box in a closet. I'll have to dig
Okay.
through, but we'll figure something out.
We'll
Yeah.
figure something out. Okay, sweet.
Oh my God! And Alex, we still have to get you your thing. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll send you
We
a
need to-
message before you hear this.
By the time you hear this podcast, if you have not gotten a message from, there he is. Wait, he just
Fuck! Are you kidding me?
just popped in.
God, Alex, how do you do that?
Alex, like right after we say your name. So we still need to get your address. If you don't have a message from us asking what your address is, like tomorrow, just send
Yeah.
it anyway. And we'll get that going.
Yeah, I'm gonna just write on this pink sticky note your name really big. Alex. Okay. And I'm just gonna stick that to my screen. So
That's very good. Well, thanks everybody for watching as usual while we ramble about who knows what. And please do give us some feedback about gear and things
about
like that.
gear and news and show
format of the
segments.
show. Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Is the George Washington thing stupid? I'm pretty sure there's some gems in here. It's just if I have to sit through 50 of them to find the gems, then I need to figure that out now so that we're not just doing that together. All right. Links in the show notes for all the things you need, including Patreon, where you can support the show, which allows us to do giveaways and riff contests and things. Well, the giveaways that are associated with the riff contests. And we thank those people heartily. And, very fun. You're all heroes in my eyes.
Here's your name in the show.
Here's your name in the show, whatever, that you paid for rightfully. All right. The patrons are Fender Hot Bob Deluxe, Messy Bougie, Mark IV, Carson Ricketts, Matthew Fenselau, Riesenwolf, B-Gow 69420, Katandru. Oh, Andrew. Right. Okay, got it. Sean Wright of Lollygagger Effects, Stevie Ray Hendricks 2112. I think I had the same reaction to Andrew last week too. Oh well.
Last week it was Andrew. Oh, Andrew.
Yeah, basically. All right. Thanks,
Okay.
guys, so much. We'll see you
thank
next time.
See you next time.
Bye.